And what's so sad to me, you mean it speaks about these young black kids, about their mind state. You mean to tell me you couldn't get the Mexicans to get on your side? Your ability to communicate has been so eroded that you can't even get the essays that you grew up with in California all this time. They joining the white guys.
Right.
Yeah. Damn.
Why?
Y'all did so hard.
Because we African Americans. We down with America. So I don't know how many black folks that I've spoken to who's on that old bullshit about illegal immigration. You know, how these illegals coming into our country? Motherfucker, what are you, high? Our country? That's your issue? I mean, come on. Illegal immigrants. That shit don't mean nothing to me.
Nope. And it's also funny,
they taking away our jobs. Motherfucker, hello, wake the fuck up. American corporations have already sold out America a long time ago with the help of the American politicians and the American government. Because corporations in America do not employ Americans. They go overseas to get cheap labor to sell you the goods. So you've been sold out a long time ago, and there wasn't no goddamn essay and Mexican involved.
Right.
So don't get mad. Don't get mad at them. Get mad at your politicians. Get mad at your government.
That's crazy. Crazy.
What, a Mexican gonna turn down money because a corporation gonna go to them and say, here, we want to give you this money. So if you take this job, you can, take this couple of cents and buy this for your family or whatever. He's gonna say, oh no, I can't do that. I don't want to take something away from the American people.
Right.
Would you do that, American people?
No.
Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. And
America has been sold out.
And then the other thing that bothers me about it is there really is no such thing as a citizen to begin with. And I've gone over this many, many times because there's really no such thing as a state. A state is an idea. It's a concept. It's sort of like Jesus.
Yeah.
Like religion and God and all these concepts. It's like they create something and people think that it's actually real, but it's not, and I can prove it. When you go to court for a traffic violation or any misdemeanor thing or like any ticket, like when the cops give you a ticket for parking and all this other stuff, when you go to court, who is the party that you injured? The state, right? Can you call the state to the stand and cross-examine the state? You can't, because the state doesn't fucking exist.
Yeah. And
the state is not the ground. The law has showed you that the ground can't be the state because I can't cross-examine the ground. I can't hurt and injure the ground. The ground has no reason to have Mr. Holipsism in court trying to get $50 from him.
Right.
But a bunch of motherfuckers who run the government do. A bunch of people who's trying to be career politicians do. So that's why we got to get off, Jelani would be a great person to talk to. I hope he calls in about that particular subject because his whole thing is about sovereignty and autonomy and these little straw men that's created through these Social Security numbers that we thinking is really us, when really all we are is just we are the avatars for who we really are in this system. That's the bugged out part. Your Social Security number and that birth certificate has created an artificial avatar of who you really are.
Right.
And that's a whole other discussion.
That's when you get your bill. Check your bill lately. You see your name in all caps.
Right.
Why is your name in all caps? Because you are the corporate entity. Your name represents that corporate entity. And that's who sues. That's who owes the money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's deep, man. It's really deep. Who is that? Was that FDR? Is that during the New Deal? When did that all...
Actually, the moment they came up with the concept of the state, if you really want to get technical about it, it's been in existence. Because what it is that people, when you say the government, people don't look at what that really means. They think that it's some separate, entity. No. The government is a bunch of people trying to enforce laws through the barrel of a gun. That's what the government is. Let's look at it for what, break it down to its purest terms. The government can do things that me and you as individuals cannot do. I can't go to somebody else's apartment and then say, you know what, you're living in this apartment, meaning that you're living on my land, so I want you to pay taxes to me for being on my land. We can't do that.
Right.
But the government can do it. Government can go to an area and say, this is my area, and in order for you to live in this area, you got to pay tribute to me.
Yeah, it's been like that for a long time.
Yeah.
In other nations, they did that as well. Even in the
Right.
Islamic, when the Islam spread, they was like either going to join us, pay a tax to live here in peace so we don't kill your ass, or we're going to kill your ass.
Right.
The tax to keep you off, tax. We even just say in the hood, you're getting taxed.
Right. And then let's talk about, there's a book called The Constitution of No Authority by Lysander Spooner. I suggest everyone, there's a person of color, a black person, whatever, African, whatever you want to call yourself now, Moor, whatever you want to call yourself, read that book, because the whole purpose of that book, what this guy was saying, that the Constitution itself has no authority, because if you go according to the law, there's no such thing as a perpetual unsigned contract. That you're eligible for being under the rules of this contract simply by being born. If that's the case, then it makes it the most mystical, magical piece of paper in the history of paper. Because every time if you go to court and I say, Mac611 is supposed to give me 75% of his paycheck, and he didn't do it, Your Honor, the judge is going to look at me like I'm fucking crazy.
Right.
But if you're the government, that argument all of a sudden is plausible and makes sense. No matter what I do, I have to give you a piece of it. Why? Because you're the government. We need to do a show on that. I'm going to do a show on sovereignty and autonomy. That's usually Jelani's expertise, so I probably have to bring him in and a couple of other brothers.
Well, that whole Constitution, this country, the rules of the game, the rules of engagement in this country, you're supposed to be protected by the Constitution. That is the supreme law of the land. Mm-hmm. The state laws are not supposed to supersede the Constitution. But they do.
But law is an opinion backed by a gun.
Right.
Charles Manson told you what law is.
Yeah, he went into a martial arts kata. That's the law.
Yeah.